Hey, Tracy Nelson here with Creation Adventures and Outdoor Education. And we're here discussing the Ten Commandments, what I think are the Ten Commandments of deer hunting. And I got to thinking about this, and really, even though I'm very so-called region specific, talking about whitetail deer, and that's that's what I hunt most of the time. I really started thinking about these Ten Commandments, and I think they would apply to about anything you wanted to hunt. So if you didn't see the first three videos, go back and watch those. And I think you can make the application across the board, no matter what you're hunting or where you're hunting. So we're to commandment number 7, and the commandment number 7 is now we're talking about helping you have success in harvesting animals. And number 7 is what to do after the shot. Know what to do after you shoot. It would be great if every deer or every animal you shot fell in its tracks right there, but that's not the case. Now, of course, shot placement is really important here, but even at times, if your shot placement, you think your shot placement is really good and you're still being very accurate, sometimes a deer will not die right where you shoot. Okay, so I'm going to do a whole video on this about how to find the area where the deer was standing and all that. But mainly what I want to discuss now, though, is when you shoot, make sure you pay close attention to where the deer is located, where it's standing, and then make sure that you observe and watch that deer. If it runs, you watch it very closely. Okay, first of all, you want to, when you shoot, you want to see how that deer reacted, or whatever animal it is. For a whitetail, a lot of times they'll jump straight up and kind of mule kick those back legs up, and then when they hit the ground, you need to watch how they're running, because a deer that's mortally wounded runs different than a deer that's just grazed or that you've missed. So this might save you a lot of time and effort out there looking for a deer if you know the way that it acted when it ran off. Okay, how was it acting? Generally, a mortally wounded deer will have that tail tucked in and just they get that low death run, I call it, where they're digging, trying to run out of the field or run from you or whatever it is, but they got that low run. And so even then, let me say this, even though a deer has that low run, they may run 100 or 150 yards before they expire. And so this is where knowing what to do. Are you ready to track an animal if it doesn't die in your, that when you have eyes on it? Are you prepared for that? And like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on that, on how I prepare, because I hunt in a different way than most people do. So I'm always in a different position in the woods, in a different place. It's not like I'm going to a stand and staying in this stand a lot of times. Okay, but even in a stand, there's one quick way I can kind of run by you real quick. Most people have an iPhone, and so you can get the compass part of your iPhone, and you can shoot an azimuth with that compass on where that deer is standing, and then the last place you saw that deer, you can shoot an azimuth there too. Okay, and then you can go to those spots and look for a sign of you hitting that deer, and that'll save you some time too. And I'll go into more detail on that later. But that's number 7. Know what to do, because a lot of people don't understand that even though a deer runs off, that that deer could be dead, and if they are not sure what to do or what to look for, because even a deer shot with a high-powered rifle sometimes may not leave just a lot of blood on the ground, and people are thinking this big beautiful red blood trail, and sometimes that's not the case. I use a fairly small caliber rifle. And so sometimes the blood trail is really, you're looking at it and it's a mortal wound. It ends up as a fatal wound, but there's not a lot of blood trail there. So that would be number 7. And then number 8 is really simple. It's just know the area you're going to hunt in, know the terrain, know the land. Because when it comes to animals, they have ways they like to travel, and based on the terrain and different things, the food sources, the season of the year, a lot of times they'll have patterns where they travel these same areas day in and day out because they're under the law of conservation of mass and energy, and they're trying to conserve energy, so they don't want to burn more calories than they have to. So if there's an easier route for them to take, on a normal daily basis and doing what they do, they're going to take those normal routes. So the more you know about your area, and this is nowadays, it's a piece of cake, right? You have these apps, which I use HuntStand, and then there's OnX. I guess that's still an app. I don't use it anymore. And there may be some other ones that I'm not familiar with. But pull up the topographical maps, however how you want to say it. Pull up those maps and look at your area that you're going into, and get to know that area. Now, I know you'll know your hunting area. I hope you'll know your hunting area very, very well, but you might want to look at the land around you in case a deer runs off in a certain area or something like that. And so you need to know how to read a topographical map. You know what all those lines mean, and what how to identify certain features of the land. So that's really simple, but if you know a piece of property and you know it well, then you know that there's places where that you're going to regularly see deer, and then hopefully you're regularly going to, on a pretty regular basis, you're going to harvest deer. So that's really quick and really simple. 7 and 8. And so y'all have a great day. God bless you.